Revenge films.
My name is Kent. I'm an office worker who lives with my wife, Maria. Although it's small, we have a house near the big city, and I was doing well at work, too. My wife can be shy sometimes, but we were close living together. But I did have a problem. That was my wife's mother. In other words, my mother-in-law, and her annoying demands of moving in with us. She had lost her husband 3 years ago, and after that, she was living the life of freedom alone. But for the past year and a half, she's been asking if she could move in with us. Her personality was a bit problematic, so I really didn't want to live with her, and my wife thought the same. First of all, moving in with us isn't that easy. We still had extra rooms in our house, but we plan to have children in the future. We explained about our plans and firmly refused, but we also listened to what she had to say and ignored the rest. Then one day she couldn't wait any longer, and she told us to come over to her house. This meant that my wife was visiting her hometown, but she didn't seem excited at all. As soon as we arrived, her mother made us sit formally on the floor. With the savings and insurance money her husband left her, I heard the rumor that she was spending extravagantly. In truth, that day she was wearing fancy branded clothes, as if to intimidate us.
Well, I bet you know why I called you here. Kent, Maria.
She was ready to scold us. Her daughter and her husband came to visit from the city, but this was definitely not the attitude she was supposed to have. We were both silent, and she yelled at us.
You better give me a clear answer today. Are you letting me move in with you or not?
We've talked about this so many times already, and every time we refused her request. In her mind, the fact that we refused her request to move in with us had disappeared from her memory, and she thinks we still haven't given her the final answer. As if to stop us from talking, she started talking endlessly. Like,
You're here because of your ancestors. It's natural that you respect your ancestors and respect the elderly. It's the duty of the young generation. So it's obvious you should let me move in with you.
Her speech continued endlessly, and she finally gave us some room to speak while she rested from her endless talking.
First of all, why are you so against the idea of me moving in with you, Kent?
Actually, I'm curious why you hate me so much that you never listen to me. I hope you can tell me the reason, I said sarcastically.
Oh, I never disliked you, never.
Really? You say you don't make much money despite being a man, and although it's in the city, how come your small house doesn't even have a garden? I remember you saying that so many times. To be honest, I work very hard every day, but you kept on saying these things, and I felt hurt.
Oh, that was what my neighbors said. Everyone told me so that's why I told you that. You know, the neighbors I'm close with have sons and grandchildren your age, okay? So the fact that you don't make as much money as others and that you built a small house without a garden often becomes the talk of the town, so I can't really do anything about it even if you complain.
Then please tell me the names of your neighbors. The average annual salary is just the average. I'll tell them that it really depends on the person. I don't want them to embarrass themselves by chit-chatting using the wrong information. Also, I'll teach them that it's common in the city to see houses without a garden. Well, it might be rare in the countryside, like here.
You're rude. Are you going to ruin my relationship with my neighbors? I'm telling you this so many times, but you should respect the elders more.
Those who complain about others' salary and their homes are the rude ones.
Just because they were right at pointing out your cheap salary, you don't respect the elders, refuse to let your mother-in-law move in with you, never listen to what others say, and complain nonstop. Everyone empathizes with me for having such an awful son-in-law.
What do you mean by everyone? Every time I come here, I greet your neighbors and update each other on what's going on recently. Mrs. Ivans and Mrs. Frederick live next door, right? Mrs. Ivans' son works as a dispatch worker, so I think he makes less money than me. In the case of Mrs. Frederick's son, he's been jobless since he graduated college. And she said he was giving her a headache always wandering around. Or are you referring to the other?
Shut up. When I say neighbors, they're just my neighbors, okay? When I say everyone, I mean everyone. I'm getting old, so I forgot who said what.
I thought you were still 50. There are people who still work at your age.
Others are others, but I am me. Why do you keep quibbling?
Others are others? But you always refer to your neighbors and everyone else and pressure me all the time. How come you say others are others just when you're talking about yourself?
What's with those eyes? How dare you look at someone older than you like this?
I knew it. You hate me. I can't believe you want to move in with us.
No, it's not like I hate you. I'm just telling you what others told me.
Who are the others you're talking about? For a while, my mother-in-law kept on making similar excuses and kept on scolding me. After saying whatever she had on her mind, it seemed like she felt a bit refreshed.
If you have any complaints, now's the opportunity to spit it all out. I'm listening to everything you have to say.
I had waited a year and a half for this moment. Then let me start. I bet you think that you can insult me any way you want as long as you say that everyone else was saying so. And you also think that you don't have to apologize.
Huh? Have you gone mad? I'm just telling the truth. Why do I have to apologize? I'm actually being kind enough to tell you what my neighbors think. You might want to thank me, but I never expected you to say something like that.
I actually went to check, but none of the neighbors said any of the things you said.
Are you stupid? Who would tell you straight in the face that you don't make much money?
And when you visit someone else's house, can you stop bringing home valuables? At first we thought a thief broke in, and both my wife and I were creeped out. Please return what you brought home without permission. First of all, you're crazy for visiting someone's house and rummaging through their things without permission.
Ugh.
She seemed like she had no words to talk back. And you keep on complaining about my income, but you've never had a job and made money yourself. You've been taken care of by your parents, then your husband, and after their death, you live on the inheritance.
It's because I didn't have to work.
Most importantly, we've been rejecting your request to move in with us so many times, but you force us to visit you and pressure us. Do you think we'd want to live with someone who does these things to us?
I just thought that you wouldn't understand how I really felt across the phone, so I wanted to talk about this in person.
First of all, I heard that you firmly refused to move in with your mother-in-law.
That's what happened in the past. I'm talking about the present.
It makes me irritated to see you act unfairly by changing the topic and blaming others, so can you stop it? So, I firmly refuse to have you move in with us. I made my position clear. Then my wife, who had been silent all this time, joined me.
Same here.
Her mother was in shock. Her face went red and she opened her mouth to say something. She seemed like she wanted to say something, but all the things I said were true, so she had trouble talking back. We then left her house. After telling her everything I had on my mind, I felt refreshed. I had been holding it in for 1.5 years, so it was an amazing feeling. She was the one who encouraged me to tell her whatever I wanted to say. So as a result of complaining about this past 1.5 years, she finally seemed to understand that it was impossible for us to live together. She cried on the phone about it, but we ignored all of it. We actually knew why she wanted to move in with us. Not only that she never had any working experience, but because of her extravagant spending, she used up all of her inheritance, so she was running out of money. As expected, she was short of money, so she got a part-time job for the first time in her life. And I heard that she's forced to work under a young boss who doesn't respect his elders.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.